Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the seriously complex world of Dreamweaver Book 6, and we're going to unpack the story of a hero who, well, he literally falls to pieces.
So let's start with this single thought. This is the moment, the absolute trigger for a psychological catastrophe for our hero, Zan. It's born from a betrayal so deep that it doesn't just break his heart, it shatters his entire world. And, as we're about to see, his very self.
So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the wound that shattered him. Then, we'll get into the wild metaphysics of his broken mind. From there, we'll see how love, of all things, starts to put him back together, just in time for him to face a massive cosmic threat. Okay, so let's get right into it. The thing that kicks this whole crisis off isn't some epic battle. It's a brutal, emotional truth that just cuts deeper than any sword could. I mean, just think about that for a second. The person you love most in the world is also the one who killed your closest family member. The emotional whiplash from that revelation is so powerful, so immense, that it doesn't just wound Zan, it actually causes his personality to splinter apart. So what does a psychological break like this actually look like? This is where the story gets really creative with its lore and its metaphysics. It basically sets up a whole new set of rules for Zan's fragmented reality. And you gotta understand, this is not just all in Zan's head. Nope. There's a real cosmic baddie at play here, this entity named Zanfar. And the deplorable dream is its tool, an external force that literally feeds on the exact kind of pain Zan is going through. It turns his personal crisis into a cosmic-level event. And this is such a cool concept for visualizing what's happening inside him, the wall of personage. You can think of it like our own psychological defenses, right? It's the thing that holds all the different parts of you, your humor, your anger, your logic, together as one person. And Zen's? Yeah, it's just completely crumbled to dust. So what happens when that wall comes down? Well, Zan is no longer one person. He's now split into 8 separate physical beings who all look like him and share his name. Each one is a core piece of who he used to be. You know that little voice inside your head? For Zan, that's now a full-blown external brawl. So you can probably guess what happens when you literally have to argue with yourself, right? It is pure, unadulterated chaos. Zan's mind has basically become a boardroom meeting with no agenda and no one in charge. And to keep it all straight, let's meet the main members of this chaotic committee. You've got Zanlar. He's all humor and sarcasm. Zansur is pure rage and violence. Zanyan is the logic and debate guy. Zanabana is the smooth, romantic side. And then there's Zan Buzzaranambian, who is basically all of Zan's fear and sorrow rolled into one. You can just feel the self-loathing here. This is Zansur, the anger fragment, just tearing into the original Zan. He's blaming him for the very weakness that caused them to split apart in the first place. It's brutal. And then, of course, Zandalar has to jump in. In the middle of this massive identity crisis, his sarcastic side just can't help but crack a joke about how messy all this emotional stuff is. It's a perfect bit of gallows humor that really shows you what a mess they're in. And finally, you get Zenyen, the voice of pure logic, trying to bring some kind of order to all this emotional chaos. He's the one who points out, hey, this pain is real. He's articulating that deep, shared wound they all feel, reminding them that even if you can't see it, the damage is very, very real. Okay, so this internal war can't go on forever, and the turning point, kind of poetically, comes from the one person who started this whole mess to begin with, Ayumi. She's the one who holds the key to putting Zan back together again. This is such a vulnerable moment. It's the original Zan basically voicing the one question that's tearing them all apart. It sounds kind of childish, but it's so deeply human, right? It's asking, am I still lovable even when I'm this broken? And which part of me is the part worth loving? And Ayumi's answer is just perfect. It's the whole resolution in one quote. She doesn't pick a piece. She loves the whole messy, complicated person. She sees his laughter, his fear, his courage, all of it, and accepts it all. This is this huge act of unconditional love, and it becomes the very foundation for his healing. So, with his internal world starting to heal, what does that mean for the massive external threat that's still out there? Well, let's look at the final stage of this incredible character journey. At the end of the day, her love is the catalyst. By accepting all the broken pieces of him, Ayumi basically gives the fragments permission to accept each other.
They find a new harmony, and for the first time, they can actually agree on a single unified purpose.
And you can see the results almost immediately in this line. By being united, by actually talking to each other, Zahn feels stronger. He's no longer fighting a war on two fronts. His internal unity is becoming his external strength, and he's finally ready to face the real villain, Zanfar. But just because his internal battle is won, for now at least, the story doesn't just wrap up neatly. Instead, it pivots and leaves us with one last massive challenge for our newly reforged hero. And that's the big question, isn't it? He's faced the chaos inside himself and he's come out stronger. But is this newfound unity going to be enough to take on the ultimate source of all that chaos? It's an epic cliffhanger that leaves you wondering if one whole person is truly enough to save the entire world.